Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from Worldcast Anglers here with your Jackson Hole fly fishing forecast for the last weekend in August, Labor Day weekend, August 31st and September 1st. Labor Day in the Greater Rocky Mountain West is always sort of the unofficial end to summer and beginning of fall, but our weather the next 10 days is not going to feel that way. It's going to be hot, it's going to be dry, it's going to be sunny, and it's going to be just a normal summer August week here in the greater Jackson Hole and Teton Valley fly fishing area. Don't forget, we've got our Fly Shop happy hour going on, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Dollar dries, nymphs, foam, 50% off the streamers, dollar tall boys for those 21 and up. Our sale rack is 60% off, and we got buy one, get one free hats. So stop in, stock up, get ready for the 3-day weekend coming down the pipe. Palisades Reservoir right now, 60% of capacity. Jackson Lake is 84% of capacity. Such a different world than where we were the past 2 or 3 years, where our reservoirs were sitting into single digits. Saturday, 86 and 50, lots of sunshine. Sunday, 85 and 52, a lot more of the same. It's going to be hot and dry, no precipitation really in the forecast for the next 10 days, but things are supposed to cool off a little bit to the higher 70s, maybe mid 70s by next weekend, getting ready for the Jackson Hole one fly competition. As I spoke last week, we don't really have much changes in our fishing conditions, our hatches, or anything along those lines from what we've been seeing there in the past. We've got our summer bugs, and those hatches are waning. Those are our PMDs, our caddis, some of our stone flies and bugs of those likes. We haven't really had enough fall weather to really get our fall hatches going, like our mahoganies, our blue-wing olives, our Hecuba drakes, and then we've got our terrestrials that are sitting in the middle there, our hoppers, our beetles, our ants. And so this time of year, you really want to have a selection of anything. You may find a cool overcast day or morning where you find some mahoganies or some blue-wing olives, or maybe some of the first of the Hecuba drakes start to come out. But then we're also still seeing some good hatches of PMDs. We're starting to see, continue to see caddis omnipresent on a lot of river systems. And then those midday doldrums when the sun is high, the hopper dropper and those beetles and ants are going to really come into play to fill those gaps. So think of that as you start moving into a lot of your fishing opportunities for this Labor Day weekend. The South Fork of the Snake is 8,400 CFS coming out of Palisades, 8,390 CFS there on the lower river. As I was just speaking about, the South Fork and its bugs are sort of in limbo. We're still seeing some of the Classinia stones or the mutant stones, which is like a size 8 or 10 golden stone. The males have really short, stubby wings. They can't really fly, and they hatch in the early morning or evening periods. So that time when you want to be twitching those single foam patterns is going to be very early dawn patrol missions, and then transition maybe into the dry dropper game, with a golden stone or a hopper, and probably a deeper dropper than not this time of year. Spanish bullet quills, some of the perdigons, smaller, thinner profile bugs are going to be more productive, as you have to think those fish have seen a little bit of everything this entire summer season. I also wouldn't concentrate on that true summer water, the riffles, those hot banks and things of that nature. I would start looking on some inside bends. I'd spend a lot of time in eddies, recircs, and some of those off-water types, flats that maybe not everyone has hit, and those fish can sort of continue to feed and not be molested or beat on, there all the time. The Snake in Jackson, 1,530 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake Dam, 2,910 CFS there on the lower river. The fishing on the Snake is pretty darn good in true late summer fashion. If you're going to be rating some of the quality of our fisheries in our greater Jackson Hole and Teton Valley area, the Snake is right up there at the top right now. We're still seeing, some smattering of those summer bugs, the PMDs. We haven't really seen much of the Hecuba drakes or the mahoganies yet, but I'd probably fish a couple here and there. But we're also seeing a lot of mutant stones, and probably with more consistency than the South Fork of the Snake. So your circus peanuts, your water walkers, smaller chubby Chernobyls, maybe without the wing or a less prominent wing paired with droppers is going to be very productive during those times. And then look for those standard, little attractors, your PMDs, and some of those other smaller parachutes to also fool a couple fish in some of those off-water areas that haven't been hit during the summer season. We got our flow drop regime and schedule for the snake. So take note of this. Now is going to be the time if you want to squeeze in one more float in Grand Teton National Park or the Snake, where you want to fish some side channels and some other dynamic water, because on September 23rd, they're going to start dropping the flows, and by October 1st, it will be at winter flows of 280 CFS. So you've got a couple weeks now before those flows drop and some of that side channel habitat and dynamic habitat starts to disappear there on the Snake. The Teton, 277 CFS up here in the valley, 580 CFS there on the lower river. The Teton has been surprisingly good this late summer season. PMDs, attractors, small hoppers, beetles, and ants have all been fooling fish and been very productive up here in the valley. It pays to be on the water early or in those non-peak recreational times, and definitely the flows are low. They're gin clear, so you're going to have to be more stealthy than you would think during the normal summer season on the Teton. The lower river has actually come back online and in very good fashion, like the old dam site and some of those other areas downstream of the valley. The cooler nights, the shorter days, and the cooler days, or the cooler mornings, it was 31 degrees at my house this morning. I had to dig my ice scraper out of my garage. First time this summer has definitely put the lower Teton back in to your quiver of fishing opportunities moving in to the late summer, early fall. Henry's Fork, 600 CFS coming out of the Box Canyon, 1,360 CFS there on the lower river. The lower river is still a terrestrial game. It's still an early morning game. I would expect it to get better with some of the shorter days, but we're not really seeing that many cooling days, especially coming up with 86 and 85 as our daytime highs. The upper river in the Box Canyon has still been really good. Dry droppers, nymphs, not much dry fly fishing, maybe some hoppers in the lower reaches of the Box Canyon. And the ranch has still been on that sort of weird area of in-between hatches. I'd concentrate with, maybe some PMD spinners, small hoppers, CDC honey ants, beetles, and things of that nature would be what I would have in my fly box if I was going to the ranch. These longer, warmer periods are going to extend our creek and tributary fishing. So those areas like the Gros Ventre, the Buffalo Fork, parts of Pacific Creek, the Hoback, the Grays, some of the Palisades reservoir tributaries are still very viable options right now for those looking to get a little more walk wade fishing in until things get too cold, there into the mid to late September timeframe. Yellowstone National Park just released an update to most of their river closures have been removed besides the Firehole River, which is great news, and so this is a great time of year to check out maybe the Madison, maybe check out the Beckler, definitely that area in the northeast corner of the park, the Lamar, Slough Creek, Soda Butte Creek, Pebble Creek. Those can all be really fun fisheries here in the end of the summer season before we kick our fall fishing into high gear. So that's all I got. Once again, Fly Shop Happy Hour, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. $1 dries, nymphs, and foam, 50% off streamers. $1 tall boys for those 21 and up. Sale rack is 60% off, and we've got buy one, get one free hats. Stop in, stock up. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Enjoy your extra day off, and hopefully it's on the water with friends and families and fishing buddies. Have a good one.